Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Ask the Accountant, part of the Ask the Accountant Network, a podcast network for accountants and bookkeepers supported by our Patreon community. Speaking of which, we start each and every show with a shout out to our coolest of cool listeners who are Mahal, Kirsty St. John, Paul Whitehouse, and I'm not even calling your name out, Aaron. I don't care that you're paying. You're an idiot. If you'd like to join our cool listener, visit our Patreon page, which can be found via the links below. Bonus content and the opportunity to be part of the coveted list, whilst also giving us direction on where we take the products in the future. And as always, on this weekly live, I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Aaron Patrick. Aaron, how are you, and how's your week been?
Can I just first apologise? You've done the list wrong, and I know this is down to the notes. The notes are the wrong way around, blah blah blah. But that's the way that it's presented by our wonderful Patreon platform. But you're supposed to go bottom up, and I'll make sure that that's very appropriate, very notable going forward. But yeah, because it's very coveted who's at the top of our list, right? So it's Paul Whitehouse, Kirsty St. John, Mahal. That's the thing. So I do apologize. My weekend. The wife is on holiday because it's her birthday. So I have worked.
Don't want to spend a birthday with you, like.
Well, it's kind of one of those things where I'd only be like not really there, if you know what I mean, because it's January, right? We all know what January's like. So it's one of those where it's always best for her just to pick the dog up. She goes with her mum. She goes off to a nice little beachy area. I mean, she went during the snowstorm, so not much beach was there when she got. Well, she couldn't see the beach was there, and she goes out. Now I've literally just worked tax returns, getting them all done, all that sort of good stuff. So yeah, it's been. I tell you what, one thing I did when I was doing a few chores, I was like taking the rubbish out and stuff like that, and I was thinking. Normally, my weekends are excited by Formula One. You know what I mean? I am so ready for the season, and how long we've got ages to go yet. So
We have, but we've just had a post yesterday from the F1 about the release dates of all the cars.
True.
So that's good. I mean, we can be only weeks away from Drive to Survive. To summarize last year, refreshes and re-energizes for next year, for the year ahead. Then we've got the Six Nations. It'll be here before you know it. It'll be fine.
Let's hope so. My Sundays just don't feel the same without that excitement there. But hey, what about yourself, Jan? Your weekend?
Yeah, the week it's just been, to say things are up and running at Engager, Tax Calc, and in my firm is an understatement. So many plates spinning. So many plates spinning. It's scary. But yeah, no, good week, productive week. Lots of things ticked off the to-do list. Even more added to the to-do list, so it's actually longer now than it was beforehand. Yeah. I spent Saturday morning doing my January ritual, which is one morning each weekend. I sit down, I review where every single tax return is up to. I review, and I try and kick out as many as possible. So Saturday morning, reviewed every single out of the outstanding jobs, prepared and sent out 15 tax returns for filing or for approval from the client, filed a few. So yeah, productive Saturday morning, and then chilled the rest of the weekend, basically. But as always,
I'll hold my question, but I do have a question about what you just said there. But let's get the Patreon.
Go for it.
Well, let's get the community out there.
Let's go through now. Speaking of coveted places, like Paul Whitehouse at the top of the list of coolest of cool listeners. We then have the coveted place of who came in at 8:30 a.m. on the dot and said good morning. Well, this week there's been a disruption. Cheryl has lost her position, and it's gone to Kirsty. Kirsty says good morning, everyone, at 8:30 on the dot. Promptly followed by Cheryl. Good morning. Hope you weren't too disrupted by the snow last week. We didn't get a single flake. You know what? We literally had a dusting Friday morning. It's a Thursday morning, maybe. And then it dumped about 2 or 3 inches on us for the over that day, and it's gone. literally you wouldn't know it snowed here now. So yeah. Good morning to Paul Ingram. Good, hope you're well. AIM GB accounts are here. Good morning. Suzanne's here. Good morning, all, from beautiful morning in Henley-on-Thames. Lovely. Mahal is here. Good morning, everyone, from rainy London. Hope everyone has a great weekend, or had a great weekend, should I say. Paul Whitehouse is here. Morning, all. Paul doesn't worry about getting in these things now because he knows he's going to get read out first.
Well, someone needs the list right.
Yeah, if I've done the list right. Suzanne says, good morning. Good morning, Suzanne. Lisa says, morning, morning. And Kirsty says, yay for being the first one in. Fantastic. Right, go for it, Aaron. Ask your question.
So, I mean, maybe it's one of the topics we were going to cover anyway, but you're saying there that you churn out work, and I've done exactly the same, right? Like, and I think the vast majority of the listeners have done the same. We're in January, right? But where do you stand when it comes to sending that actual piece of work out on that Saturday? Because I'm in a position where I now have 3 firms, 2 of which there's almost a policy that we don't submit any, or we don't communicate to our clients outside of working hours. Whereas Apple Core, which is my kind of smallest, a small firm, which is friends and family mostly at this point, I'll send people messages at 11 o'clock at night. There's no issue there, right? They know the deal. You know, unfortunately, they're going to be very low on my priority list when it comes to getting stuff done for them. So
because they pay a cheap price, right?
Yeah,
let's pay you a value.
Yeah, let's just say there's a value there, a smaller value there. They know what they're getting. They know the deal. They know what happens. They're all up front, and they are clients, but they're not clients, right? Like, one of them cuts my hair, one of them cuts, you know what I mean? Like, one of them cuts my nana's hair. Like you know what I mean? Like, they're friends and family, and it's all fine. But I will message them at any time, on send emails to them, whatever it needs to be, no problem. But one of the other firms, there's almost thing, and it causes a bit of an issue because, like, now all the work I've done, there's a whole pile of stuff that's ready to go out, right? Like literally, the next step then is an administration burden of actually going through and sending it. So where do you stand on that? Would you actually physically send it at whatever time you've done it and get them there, or do you have that? Because there's a perception, isn't there, where you don't want to. It's almost like you don't want to show them that you're working overtime. You don't, because sometimes that can put panic into people, into some clients' eyes, right? Like, they're going, why has this been done on a weekend? Like, or why has this been done late at night? Do you know what I mean? Like, what's your policy on that one?
So we're quite clear with clients of, my team do not work weekends and evenings. So if it was one my team members in on a weekend doing it, clients always, Johann steps in to help out and get on top of workloads, etc. Get us ahead of the game if we've got another project we want to work on, and that may involve Johann doing some stuff over weekends. And that's Johann, as the owner of the business's decision and prior choice to waste his weekend doing it. So it doesn't set any expectations that we should be there or we are doing anything. So I even put it into the emails, hi, I'm just getting us ahead of the game for January to prevent any last minute issues. Like, because I'd rather get us ahead and send something out on a Saturday and just say, look, I'm just being proactive, I've got a morning to burn type thing, than get to late January and then it's going out in evenings and weekends because we've got a staff member off sick that wasn't planned and can't be predicted. So only I send stuff out over weekends, and in evenings, and that's my prerogative as the owner of the business, and the clients know that. And I think as business owners, they also get it. They don't expect their staff as business owners. Business owners don't generally expect their staff to go above and beyond their working hours, and they understand that. They understand our organizational structure and they get what might be happening. So it's never caused us a huge issue, but we are very strict with the clients in regards to our team members' time and working hours. So So they never expect a response from a team member over a weekend. They know it will come on Monday. Whereas if I'm sat there and I'm going through the support box and there's an email that I can quickly knock out and just answer the question, saving the client any hassle or my team hassle on Monday and lightening their workload on Monday, then I'll do it. And they know what that is about.
Yeah. And I suppose the clients appreciate it, don't they? They see that. I mean, I abuse the feature on our ticketing platform where you can send later. So like literally over the weekend, I will go in, draft out the reply, get it all ready, and do send later, and they all go out at a set time on I think on the Monday morning, right? But yeah, because in my mind I've dealt with it, so I've closed the ticket, I'm moved on, everyone's happy, and then the client will get the reply, during normal working hours or whatever. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because also I suppose you're losing almost brownie points, aren't you, with the client if you've done the work for them, gone above and beyond, and they just see it on a Monday morning.
Like there's no value perception put there. There's no appreciation of, but also like when we turn, if we're a bit slower to respond in the last 2 weeks of January to an email or something, we can genuinely go, so it's just a really busy time of year. Like Johann's working weekends. That's how busy we are. So we can leverage it as well to go, look, we're just a bit slower than normal, but you're still going to get your reply. It might be in 2 hours instead of 1 hour. So yeah. But yeah, Paul says in the comments, I've always sent signing requests whatever time of day, but only rarely respond to messages. There we go.
And like I said, Apple quite would just any time of day, but just trying to set the expectation. And it's more, I think you've got a really good way of doing it where it's the clients know that only you will do it. But I've always had that fear that because we've never said that, we've never gone to that length to say it. And maybe that's down on us, right? Maybe we need to get that communication right. But because I've never had that communication out with the client, I'm just scared of setting the expectation that the teams are always available, like we're 24/7.
Yeah,
it's a little bit like
I always say to our team that to our clients, like if you want a quicker response, email support at. Don't email Bob at, because he might be on holiday or he might be off sick, and you won't get a response. Email support at, and whoever's working whenever they're working keeps an eye on that. That's our team's commitment. So they might get responses in the evenings and weekends if I see it, but also they know it's outside of office hours, so they know not to expect anything guaranteed. Like we do the same with Engager support. Like technically, there is no commitment from Engager to answer Facebook posts outside of the 9 till 5 Monday to Friday. But if I'm sat and watching telly, I'll respond and we'll have a conversation and stuff. That's not an issue. But there's no guarantees that we're doing that. It's just we're doing our best, but these are our service level agreements.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you seem to have a hybrid then, by the sound of it, where your team members will have their own personal email and you've got support at whatever that's going to be. In Bofix from day one, it was the team would never give out their personal emails. Like that is it's no go. It doesn't go through there because we can't monitor it, right? And it's that same old problems we've had. We had that since day one, and it's right, okay. And when you have it from day one, clients don't have an issue with that because if they wanted it, some of then we're not the right firm for them, right? They wanted to have that personal connection with their accountant or whatever. Then in Bofix world, they're not. That's not what it was. But from day one, we're very, very strict on that, and that's the policy, and it goes forward from that. With the new practice, we've it's the opposite. Everyone gave their personal emails account to all their different clients, and from a client's point of view, if they wanted to get something done, sometimes they'd have to put in multiple emails in and send this one. It's that sort of world that goes through from there. And obviously, from my point of view, I've got to implement that ticketing system. I've got to go through that world of them. So the only way we can really do that is to revert to a more generic email address that client contacts will go to, and then your personal emails then can be saved for for my mind what personal emails should be for, like getting signed in and all that sort of stuff, and confidential information being sent to you and stuff like that. And it's really interesting to kind of go through that process at the moment of how do you tackle that expectation in a really positive way? Because there are
Yeah.
going to be some clients that, you know, A, you've just had someone come in and take over the firm. B, you're now asking me to change. And I've always emailed Joe Blogs at so-and-so.com, right? Now you're asking
You're
me to put
depersonalizing the service here.
exactly where that's never the intention. Like, they will always be that person who's going to look after it. And it's about communication, right? But how do you tackle that and everything else? It's been a really like
You sell
interesting
it.
thing.
So the way we've done it, because we used to have like all sorts of email boxes, and
Yeah.
client managers used to get sent payroll information and stuff, and then I just saw people come to forward. It just became a mess.
Yeah.
So when we introduced the support at, we really sold the benefits of it and going, look, you know, this support app thing that's covered like 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. 5 days a week. I keep an eye on it at weekends and evenings, and I'll only respond in those times if it is deemed as urgent, or if I'm sat watching the telly and it is a 30-second, I can easily type this out on my phone response. Anything more in depth, it just gets dealt with on Monday, unless it is urgent. Like, you know, client suddenly has a brown envelope saying tax investigation coming your. It's like, right, I will jump on that just to reassure them that they're okay. We're on it. We'll deal with it. It's not an issue. But yeah, we found by promising faster response times, etc., on the support part than you would normally see on a personal part, because someone might be in a meeting for 2 hours, and then whereas in support you've got 29 people watching it. Like,
And you
it's
can actually
easier.
and you can actually record that SLA, right? Like, there is, you know, it's all well and good saying, "Oh, I'll always get back to you within," and it doesn't matter what time you say, right? 2 days, 3 days, 1 hour, 2 hours, right? We've got no
Yeah,
way of actually monitoring that. Then you know, who knows? Because if it's going to like an inbox you can't monitor, you have no idea if, you know, if Doris has got back to Bob within the time limit or without the time limit, right? And like, I think that's the selling point that, you know, we're gonna have to not finger down on, because it's like, well, we're being held accountable. Actually, we're being held accountable to keep to your, you know, level of standards you expect from us. So yeah, it's just really interesting that kind of that's like a whole shift, and it's not just, you know, the mechanics of doing it and the systems in place and all that lot. It's really, you've got to kind of think about it from, it's almost that psychological effect of it all, right? And how that
yeah,
can affect it and everything else, which, if I'm completely honest, when I first kind of was like, oh, it makes sense, we're just going to go down to a generic, never really considered that fully. It's not until
yeah,
when you start to look into it and start mapping out that process of, well, how do we move them from this to this? Like, what are the effects? You go, well, this is bigger than you think it's going to be, right?
yeah. And I think it's one of the things that actually people need to get right as early on as possible. Like, as you're starting out your firm, because otherwise, the moment when it's just you and it's all going to Johann at, the moment you bring in a team member that needs to start seeing stuff, and you start doing like support at or whatever it is, there's a pain point there. No matter how much you try and reduce that pain point, and it takes a while for them to stop sending things to Johann at and to share the information properly with the right people.
Yeah.
So if you can get it right from day one, that's the bonus. But the longer you leave this, the bigger headache you're going to have and the more challenges you're going to have. So yeah, good luck with that one, Aaron.
I
So
think I'm in a good position where there's almost a reset well, there is a reset happening, right? Like, new
yeah,
ownership, you know what I mean? Like, and it's
yeah,
almost like, look, trust me on this, like, this is for the benefit, and I've got that chance to do it. But you're absolutely right, and it comes back down to that whole argument of, well, at what size do you consider doing this? At what size do you like, practice management, a huge one, hasn't it? Like, oh, how many
yeah,
clients should I have till I think about doing a practice management solution? Like, no, from day one. Like, get a
yeah.
practice
Don't do
management
what I did
solution.
and wait for 80.
And that's it, yeah, and that's where, like, if I look at the growth and capacity and potential of, you know, now I've got 3 firms that I can look at, like, there's clearly, because from day one, it was practice management led with Bofix. Like, because it was day one, it was, having that one centralized email, and having that collaborative thing. Then we've had an opportunity to grow, and it's almost infinite growth at that point, because we're not waiting to get to a certain barrier to then bring it in. With Apple Core, I can't even get someone to come in. I've tried to get like, oh, what if I just get like a subcontractor in just to do that work for me at the moment, right? Because it's not about profitability for me at the moment. It's about where is my time best spent. And if I'm completely honest, like, spending this weekend just chilling and doing tax return probably wasn't the best use of my time. I missed out on a holiday. You know what I mean? Like, or I missed out on the new work for the new practice. But I've never had that mentality with Apple Core of it being anything other than me. So I don't have processes and procedures in place to, let someone else come in and just get the work done. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's really to the detriment of that practice. That practice will never grow. Like, that practice will never be anything other than what it is. And that's because I didn't have that mentality from day one to do anything other than it just being me, right?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Paul says, I had to change my mobile number last year as I gave it out during COVID, but it was affecting my personal time too much. Yeah, can be a bit of a challenge when they get hold of your number.
It's tricky, isn't it, as well? Like, because I even went down the road of having multiple mobile numbers, and I was like, my Android phone will just be for client work, blah 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 blah. But actually, that makes it even worse, because I can go 3 days without looking at that Android phone, and I've got multiple messages there, right? Like, and I'm like, oh no, what have I done? Like, their perception is they're texting me, so they're going to get an instant reply. If I come back 3 days later, that's not a great look, is it?
Yeah. No, and I've done the exact same thing. I've tried to split it out, and it's not worked because I've not got into the habit of going back to the second device. Although I say that I'm going to give it another shot this year. I've got a plan. So based on
this
some technology.
Clicks by any chance?
Yeah. I really like the idea of the Clicks communicator that got announced last week. It's not coming out until like September, but it gives me time to think through processes and systems and how we work that. Kirsty says, I'm in a quandary and think it depends on the client. Mine know I work odd hours to suit me, but some I do delay send, often get replies at odd hours. But then we're all dealing with business owners who are in the same shoes as ourselves. Like, then those business owners are going to be the first to go, yeah, I work silly hours. I work around the kids. I work around the family. I work around, I can't do and respond to my accounting and bookkeeping queries whilst I'm running the shop on the day-to-day. I have to do it in the evenings. So I think there's a lot of understanding there that we forget about. And there's a lot of mutual pain points that we forget about. Cheryl says,
I remember on.
Go on.
Sorry. I remember on, I'm trying to think of the name of the podcast. Is it Confessions of Accountant? Kirsty will know, because Kirsty was there. And I'll always remember my confession at that point and remind me what Kirsty said there about delay and send. I'm one of those that during busy periods like this, I'll delay send even if it's within working hours, right? When you're in that position where clients come in and, you want to respond to it. So you get the response done, blah, blah, blah. You want to get done. But you also in the back of mind know that if I send this now, they're going to read it and they're going to respond straight away. And suddenly you're just in a conversation with that one client, right? So in the busy times like this, I am the world's worst at just going delay send 2 hours. In my mind, I've dealt with it. In my mind, it's done. The client's going to get it. Like, it's not a burning building, right? If they get it now, great. But if they get it in 2 hours time, same, the same outcome for them. But I'm constantly doing that during that busy time, because what I don't want to do is just get into these like ping pong matches with people or whatever it's going to be, right? Where we're just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I mean, the best thing I ever did in times like this was stop doing that and actually like record a little video for them and send that off to them that they can consume and go through and do it and those sort of things. So yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Where when you're in this sort of time frame where it's just hands on the pumps, let's just get things done, let's get things over the line. There's little tricks nowadays and little systems and everything else just to give you that little bit opportunity to try and get some air, because otherwise you could spend all day just replying to clients' messages and going through that, right?
Yeah, I don't really use delay send. It's very rare I use it. Like, not if a client's complaining, then I'll do a delay send because I want them to think that I've not just sat there, written an email straight away, and like I want them to feel like I've put some thought and time and investigation into it when I didn't need to. So I delay send those, but again, very rare. I mean, to be fair, with those emails are backwards and forwards, like Fixer AI has been hugely important for me for that because it reads drafts, it understands the whole conversation. Like there was someone on Friday who was brand new to being self-employed and asking like, oh, so will you send me the tax return to review before you send it to HMRC? Well, of course we're going to do that. Like, who wouldn't do that? But for them, it's a genuine, legitimate question. Whereas Fixer AI saw that email and saw several bullet points they'd asked, and it had drafted the full response for me. So I had a quick review and press send because it had written all the responses saying, yes, of course we'll send it. Of course we'll send it to you for review. You also need to e-sign it in our portal because it had context of conversations I've had with other clients. So yeah, it was Fixer AI is very good at that, helping reduce that whilst leaving clients feeling that you're dealing with things promptly and efficiently. So yeah, well worth a look.
And have you got Fixer AI on the support one as well as your own personal one then?
Not yet.
Interesting.
That is something we're looking at doing. I've only used Fixer AI since October.
Oh, okay.
So I started using Fixer AI on the 24th of October. By the 25th of December, it already dealt with 12,500 emails for me, which is absolutely disgusting and vomit wrenching that I get that many emails. But yeah, Fixer AI will probably go live in February for the support box.
Interesting. Yeah, because that'd be really, because if it's anything like ours, like our support box is, what is it, 100,000 tickets it's got to look at the moment. So, you know, we're just using ChatGPT to do it, but we're using ChatGPT to go through because it can connect directly to our solution, everything else.
Yeah.
And we've got now Atlas as the browser to kind of jump in and kind of go through from there. So we've kind of got it. It's not as slick as Fixer AI by a long way, but just as that, you know, here's a summary of history that's happened with this particular person. Is that sort of stuff, right? Like it's there and it's doing really well and kind of bringing that to the thing. But when it's got that rich amount of data, that rich, like 100,000 tickets to look through, right? It's really clever what it can do and what it can kind of like look at and bring in. And I think that's one thing where I know there's still a lot of trepidation about what AI can do for us and where's it belong and all this and so the other. But just dealing with emails and stuff has been an absolute godsend. Like, I wouldn't be where I am in this part of January if it wasn't for letting AI help me to be able to triage my tickets, triage my emails, or whatever whatever your term is going to be for client communication, and that is only going to get better over time, isn't it?
Yeah, and we're exactly the same. Like, so I didn't follow one of our processes a few months ago. And that came back to bite me on Friday because I couldn't I had huge email chains from these clients. I could not find, I didn't send them a proper proposal. I just sent them a quick email because I was on the go saying, oh, it's going to be this much.
Yeah.
Could I find that bloody email because of all the thousands of emails I've had from that client since and before? No. Went into Engager, onto the communication log for that client, and this was in Atlas, told it, look, I quoted the client for this service at some point in the last 3 months. Go through all the emails and find me how much I quoted it for it. All right. It took it about 5 to 10 minutes to do that.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, I was doing tax returns. I was doing other stuff. And it came back to me with the answer. And it's like, cool, thank you.
Yeah.
And if I was going to lose half an hour to an hour trying to find this bloody email, or I was going to have to confess to my team that I've not followed out my own processes that I'm telling you to follow. Can you help me? Does anybody know what I said? So yeah, good old Atlas got me out of a hole there.
Yeah. And also it's not just emails and stuff, is it now? Because I think you're similar to us, right? We've started to use that Teams, the message, the what you calling it, the logs, where you get to the meeting logs.
Oh yeah, all the meeting logs go in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because the whole of 2024, the whole of 2025 and most of 2024, all of my meetings, and now the teams are starting to dump their summaries in as well. If a client has got like an issue or a problem and they've come to you, right? Like, because or contradicting us again, but like my team will never give out their email, but clients will obviously know mine from time to time and everything else. And if they do have a problem, they do have an issue, guess who they're going to come to, right? But being able to go, wait, that doesn't sound right. That's not what we would have said or done. And let Atlas go through that whole history of communication we've had with our clients and all the meetings we've ever had and gone, no, you're right. They never would have said that. And here's proof because on this date at this point, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that has been absolute gold dust for us.
Not last week, the week before, a client complained about our response times.
Yeah.
And that there was issues. So I literally went into the client's communication log in Atlas and went, look at all the send and receive dates of all the emails for the last 3 months and work out our On Point's average response time and the client's average response time. Ours was an average response time 28 minutes. His was 4 days, 5 hours, and 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, I'm quite smug. So
yeah.
Right, let's get back to the community though. Cheryl has said I've started scheduling emails with for some clients as they expect the back and forth conversation sometimes, which can be very disruptive to family life. Absolutely, and it's setting the boundaries and stuff.
Yeah, and thank you,
and
Cheryl,
managing those. Yeah, exactly. Mark says, "Good morning, guys." Good morning, Mark. Kirsty says, "Yep, Donna Bettis, Confessions of an Accountant." I have a confession. I need to get back to Donna. I was scheduled in for a podcast and I had to recording and I had to move it because something else came up, and I've not gone back to her to reschedule that yet. So thank you, Kirsty and Aaron. I will get back onto that because I need to.
You're not following your own procedures. Do as I say, not what
no.
I do.
Well, yeah. I didn't write down that I didn't set myself a task to revisit that. AIM GB Accountants said we've moved over to a general email services for all clients since joining Engager. I've also found the WhatsApp has become a very popular. How do you deal with WhatsApp messages? So we have Client Window in my firm for WhatsApp. Client Window has won me so much work. Like, so we have WhatsApp buttons all over our website, which people use instead of forms and schedule in discovery meetings and stuff. People WhatsApp us loads of times from our website. So we've actually seen more leads come from our website because of the WhatsApp button than we ever did through forms, any other method we've had. But yeah, so everything comes into Client Window, which means the whole team can see it. And the whole team can, like, we deal with it in the same way we have support at. Now, there's not hugely important, ongoing conversations or anything there. So at the moment, we're not worried about that being an Engager, but we are looking at how we can get Client Window and Engager talking to each other and linked up. We just need time in the roadmap to do it. But yeah, WhatsApp-wise, I would recommend, if it's just you, WhatsApp Business is fine. And you can even do like out of hours and stuff, working hours on WhatsApp Business. It's very good. If you've got a team, Client Window is the way forwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not.
How do you manage WhatsApp?
It's been one of those things where it's always been high list of it. And I get the pull of Client Window. Just for certain bits of it, it wouldn't quite work for us, and it doesn't quite. It's not that perfect. You know how that whole analogy, if you've got your red, your round square, a round shape and a square hole, it doesn't quite fit for our use case, because we're using like other applications that would need to have communication with it and stuff like that. So Client Window hasn't quite been the one for us, but we are actively looking. At the moment, it is just what do you call it, a business, so WhatsApp Business, and it is just a very much a case of someone monitors it and then kind of passes it through. So it's not perfect whatever way, but I am in communication with a new person on the block who is looking at the way that we communicate with clients, and WhatsApp's part of that. So hopefully, fingers crossed. They seem to have a grasp on our problems anyway, and what our needs are going to be. So let's hope that they can come to it. But I do think there's a space where we need to make that much like accessible and easy for people to get used to, right? I remember you guys were looking at it through Engager, right? And it was just astronomically expensive and just wouldn't work, and it was no point in going for it. And I just feel like there's got to WhatsApp's become such a fundamental way to communicate, and it is, like you said, not only is it really good for getting new work, but it's also so good at just getting that confidence with the clients and just having that chance. And let's be completely honest with one another, text messaging, telephone calls, emails, even, like, they're starting to become less and less relevant to the newer generation, and probably WhatsApp's not even going to be that. I don't even think WhatsApp's like that thing anymore. If we could have a Snapchat, like, I hate the solution. I think it's absolutely awful. But if we could have a solution where you could be on Snapchat, you could be on whatever needs to be relevant, I feel like that's the future of what it. And it's not built yet. There's nothing there that could aggregate that. But I do feel like that would be the best one. And my big thing about Meta that I feel like they just need to make better is that why is there not a messaging app? Why is there not a WhatsApp and a Instagram and a Facebook? Like, why is that not all amalgamated in one app? Like, all made by the same company, all has like connections. At this point, surely there should just be a business suite where they could go, right, all your WhatsApp, all your everything's in this one app. Go run a business from it. It baffles me. But anyway, that's my rant. Well, what about you? Oh, you've already said the haven't you?
Well, on top of that, though, what we're also something Engage is about to release in the coming weeks. We're testing it at the moment. Is when you generate a proposal or letter of engagement at the moment, we generate it ready for you to press send, and it sends via email.
Yeah,
you're going to have a new option in Engager where you copy the link. So you'll be able to copy the link, and that then WhatsApp it or SMS it or do whatever platform you're using, Snapchat it over to your client to review, and instead of having to wait for an email. So it's all going in that direction of making sure you're not reliant on just emails anymore.
100%.
So, Sue says, what is Atlas, please? Sue, Atlas is ChatGPT's web browser. So it's only available on Mac at the moment. But it's basically a web browser like Safari, Google, Firefox, Edge, stuff like that. But it's got ChatGPT built in, so it's a lot more powerful with agent mode and stuff like that. I think we have covered it in the previous videos. I think we did a whole watch episode on that. So check our YouTube channel, because I'm sure Aaron and I did a special episode on Atlas at some point. Speaking of AI that's improving day on day, Claude AI have finally launched their desktop app for MacBooks. Like, they did it back in the summer for Windows. Oh, my life's so much better. Oh my God. So Claude AI's desktop app will auto record anything you have a meeting with online on your MacBook or your Windows device, whatever it is. So it just sits on the side. There's no faceless AI thing in a Zoom call or something. It's recording it through the hardware you've got built into your own Mac. It records it, transcribes it. If it knows who people are from previous meetings, it can recognize the voices and name them.
Love that.
My life's just become so much more complete. I absolutely love it.
And
so if you've not used
Claude minutes with Claude,
so you can record unlimited for free.
Wow.
You can transcribe 300 minutes a month for free. I go through that in 2 or 3 days, but because like a lot of the stuff that I do, like, so when I'm stood on stage talking about something, I normally have my Claude device recording me, because that's great random content to suddenly turn into blogs, etc., into a book, stuff like that. You do it often enough. But yeah, so, and then you get another package for X amount a month, for X amount of minutes, but you can go unlimited for, I think it's £29 a month.
Okay.
Or £224 a year, and you get unlimited. Well, considering I spend day in, day out in meetings, like, it's fantastic. And then I just copy that summary and the detail I need to copy from from a client meeting, put it into the client's record in Engager. Love life. So much better.
Because
great little advancement there.
I went down. Yeah, because I went down the Insta360 idea. So it's similar to what Claude is, but they've kind of created their own AI app and all the transcribing app and all this and stuff. And I got that really cool wave solution, which we'll do a video on when I do a video on the new practice and the tech we brought to the practice. We've got a video idea for that for the Ask the Accountant. But the only big like sticking point for me is that, just like you said there, where if it knows the other person, it can go through and it can what you call it, it can pick the person and everything else. Well, because it's a whole new ecosystem for me, I've never really transcribed in that ecosystem before. It's having to learn it. It's even learn my voice and everything else go forward. So fine. But the problem is you get X amount of minutes per month anyway, like yours is. I forget the numbers. But if then you teach it, oh, this is so and so, by the way. So this person here, so it will come up with like speaker 1, speaker 2, speaker 3. So it's already split them, but it will be like, oh yeah, speaker 1 said this bit, and if I go, oh, it's speaker 1's this. It uses your minute allocation to retranscribe to then put the right person in. Like, what?
Claude doesn't do that.
Yeah.
No. So Claude lists speaker 1, speaker 2, speaker 3, speaker 4, however many you've got. I think 11 speakers was the longest I've ever had. And it also puts in sections of what they've said underneath each speaker, and you can press play to listen to that little sentence so you understand it. And then you can allocate speaker names. But then it just updates it goes wherever it basically transplants speaker 1 in the notes, gets replaced with Bob or Jane or whatever. It doesn't re-transcribe it. It just updates the transcription without using minutes. So, yeah.
It doesn't quite work in that way.
So, yeah, all fun and games. Marcus, good morning, Marcus. Have you checked to see if Atlas in scope of ChatGPT SOC? Yes. So Atlas is in scope of whatever subscription you have to ChatGPT. So if you've got the free subscription, it doesn't have SOC 2, ISO accreditations, etc. If you've got the Teams package, it's in scope of everything, because all Atlas is doing is putting it into your account basically to deal with everything and then putting it back. So it's just a UI, as it were. So it's as secure as the package you've got. Say again.
Atlas, you can't even use it without a subscription, can you? I think that's one of the things. If you didn't have a ChatGPT subscription, I don't think it even works.
You can use it on the free subscription, but you have to have an account for it to work.
And a subscription. Yeah, you have to physically sign in to make it even work, don't you?
Yeah. So Aaron, 5.65 million tax returns still to be filed as of last week. That's worse this year than last year. So last year it was 5.4 million at the same time. Interesting though, I'm seeing a lot more text messages and emails going from HMRC to tax receivers to get them moving with this. And I've had a lot of clients going, "Oh, I've had an email or a text message from HMRC saying I need to do my self-assessment." It's like, yeah, you've had an email from us once a month for the last 9 months as well, but you didn't bother with that. Are you seeing people mentioning these new reminders and stuff?
Yeah, I think it's difficult, isn't it? Like, do we want to embark, like, push it as much as possible, or don't we? I actually find that when that reminder comes out, that we basically put a little Teams message to everyone in the team saying, brace yourself, because all that happens is the clients just suddenly go, well, where's my, you tell the story all the time. Like, what you'll most likely get out of this is clients who you filed back in April. Like,
Literally, had it this week, had it on Friday. Client said, "Oh, I've just had a reminder to pay my tax return." It's like, cool, but we've not filed it yet. We filed it on the 28th. Well, I sent it to you, and you were on the 28th of May. You approved it on the 29th of May, and we filed it on the 30th of May. Oh, can you send me that? Because I've not seen that yet. Well, you bloody have, because you signed it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's in your portal. Like,
Yeah.
I can see the audit log. Oh, so yeah. It's always a fun one when they go, "Oh, we've been proactive." They've been proactive, and then they forget they've been proactive. It's so out of character for them. They're in shock.
Yeah, exactly right. But I mean, the silver lining is, though, this is the last ever January we've got to worry about, right? Because it's MTD from April. So this is it. Everyone, book your holidays now for next January. You got permission from Ask the Accountant. Go off and just do a 4-week
there's a lawsuit.
full week
We
cruise
are
for
so
everyone,
liable.
because making tax digital will solve all our problems. So yeah, that might be sarcasm, but I'll let you decide if it is or isn't.
MGB Accountant says, "Thanks for the advice. I'm looking at becoming a core listener this week. What is planned for bonus content this month?" What a great question.
What a great question. Yeah. So, well, we've got timed exclusive content for you all. So, we do, at the moment, we're doing what's in our bags. So we're kind of looking through all the tech that we take around, everything else. Mine's already up and running for the Patreon listeners now. They can go and watch and see what's in my bag. I already had some really good feedback from that, and people have already bought things on behalf of that. So I should have really done like, they thingy,
Referral links.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. But I know, Johann, you've got, at some point, you've got planned to do one as well, so that'll be great.
Yeah.
And as I kind of alluded to there, I want to do a kind of series of how we're going to get this new practice up and running from a tech side of things. Like, we're going in blank slate, how are we going to do it and stuff like that. So I've already bought a few cool little gadgets and stuff for the office, so make sure we get a video on that so people can see that. But then there's the bonus show. So on Wednesday we're going to be looking into it, and we're going to be pushing the whole idea of what events are upcoming this year, which ones we're planning to do, and we're going to rank last year's as well. So should be good.
Nice. Very nice. Right. I've craftily managed to get us through to 19 minutes past 9 without hitting a topic that Aaron wants to talk about. So this is for everyone's benefit, because this is like the Las Vegas topic. Once he starts, he won't stop. But we've got a timer now, Aaron. So we've only got 11 minutes, and we need to sign off in that time. So Companies House have upset you again, Aaron, and rightly so. I can see why you're upset about this. It's caused you major headaches. So go for it. What's happened at Companies House to upset you further with the personal IDs?
Yeah, it's a topic that won't go away from me, right? So personal IDs for me personally, like, let's forget about running this as a practice. This is me personally, and this is how it's affected me personally. So at the very beginning, I was always confused why I was given 2 digital IDs, because, as we keep saying, that didn't feel like it should be possible, just causing problems, all that sort of stuff. And for me, it's been one of those things where I've had to think about, which of these personal IDs should I be using, and all this, that, and the other. And it's just like, and this is me clued up with it. So if I'm having these problems, how much more of issues is it going to go from clients? That was always round 1. Round 2, though, is that the personal ID that I decided to use was the one that I've actually got connected to, that I did through Companies House. So I've gone through that one because I know then that, like, I'm following a client's world then, right? And everything else. So I could log into my OneGov account, I can find it and all that sort of stuff. So I've just taken over this new practice. Because I've taken over this new practice means that, I'm having to get the solicitors to file things at Companies House for me. So they rightly said, "Oh, what's your digital ID?" So I copied and pasted it over to them. I think they were quite surprised that I already had that, right? They were like, "Oh, well, first time." And in fairness, I've got a feeling these solicitors had no idea what this digital ID actually was. And I think they were going by the seat of their pants on actually using it, if I'm completely honest with everyone. But anyway, they asked for this digital ID and they put it over to them. Okay, cool. like in my mind, I'm ahead of the game. Everything's good. Everything's great. Got a message back. That's the wrong guy. This ID is not working. Can you send me a proper one? I was like, what do you mean it's not working? Like, I've already filed like X amount of confirmation statements with this, so of course it's working. Bear in mind, this process is a process for me to take ownership of this new company, so I can do things like, make sure I'm on the bank account, critical things like that. So
the
that,
important parts.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, well, this is weird. So the first thing I did went Gov UK. Thought, oh, have I like not copied? Because my rant a while back was the fact that they were putting these dashes in that shouldn't be there, right? So have I just not put this dash in? Right, okay, let's go. And so I copied the I went into Gov UK, copied it from there. So they've got a handy little copy button. So I thought like copy, paste, everything else. Because also I was thinking, have I given like a client one by accident? Like, have I copied and pasted? And like, I was like, alarm bells are ringing at this point because it's not working. Right, copy and paste. No, sorry, it's still not working. I did check; it was the same one, but I was like, "What? Can you just make sure like the dashes and stuff like that aren't wrong and stuff like that? And is there something, can you just help me and like what do you call it and everything else?" And he came back to me and went, no. Here's a screenshot of what the problem is. And I was like, that's weird. So I went into one of my other companies that hadn't filed a confirmation, hadn't actually put the digital ID in for because it wasn't due yet. So I thought, well, let's see if I can replicate it. Same error. Even though this is a code I've already previously used, and I filed that, I think 3 different confirmation statements for 3 different companies using that same code 3 different times, it was coming back saying that my name and my date of birth was wrong, right? So I looked into that and I looked at the thing and I was like, is this one of these issues where, how your name is going to be slightly different from one place to another, or maybe there's a clerical error and your birthday has not been put in. I was like, all these issues, and I was going through everything, and I even got to a point where side by side comparison these 2 different ones, they're exactly the same. Like the name. I mean, I've got
you sent them to me to spot check.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was like, yeah, spot the difference here, Johann. Like, which ones? Yeah, what's going on? And yeah, it was coming up with the error message was basically that this person's name and thing doesn't match, and you need to. But I promise, like, I have spent way more time than I should have done on this one. I went through thing and passed it. Johann checked. Like, these were identical records on identical things. And bear in mind, on this new practice, I'm not trying to connect to something that's already in company's house. They are basically putting in the details, and I made sure I passed them the exact details they should be putting in and how I want it presented. I was being, fully like going through it all, and they were getting the same message. So for whatever reason, and I've reached out to company's house, will I get a response? Probably not, to try and get clarity on this. But that code now will not connect to those things. Now there is a workaround. The workaround is you have to kind of put it in, force it, and then you can tick this box to say that the database is wrong or something like that, whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
I've got a video and I'll try and put a video together at some point. But I've had to go through and force this through, and I've wasted hours and days of being able to get access to this bank account, right? Because this code, for whatever reason, is now not working. Now, if that's happening to me, again, someone who has ranted and raved and tried to get clued up and tried to get as much information I can, as understood as much as I can, because I'm also delivering this service to my clients, right? If I'm getting these issues, if I'm getting these problems, how are we going to cope with this when clients are going to start to need to have this information pushed through on a mass basis, right? Thankfully, it's a bit of a drip feed at the moment, isn't it? It's only the confirmation statements that are due, within the last month that we've had to worry about and have this problem with. But yeah, it was just one of those things where I'm like, seriously, come on. Like, am I the most unluckiest person in the world, or is this generally the experience that everyone's going to get? And I fear it's the latter more than the first one.
I don't know what else to add to that. It's just, I mean, at least it happens to you and not a client for now. Right.
But it was going to
happen,
isn't it?
If this happened to a client, like, you've lost the game already, because they aren't going to be knowing what they did or didn't submit, and did they put a hyphen in their name, or something like that. So yeah, it's.
And like, we'll go back to it. Like, from a premise point of view, we fully back why this change has come in, because actually my name has been different on different companies. And, when you click the hyperlink to go to Aaron Henry Patrick, it wasn't bringing all my companies up, right? So fully get why we're doing this. And I will die on my hill on that one, die on my sword on that, right? Like, the end result, fully on board with. But this implementation is just so problematic. In the end, I had to tell my solicitor how to fix this problem, right? Imagine that was the other way around. Imagine a client having to tell us how to fix it.
Yeah.
Do you think there'll be a client for much longer if that was the case? Because it's showing incompetence when we've never been trained. Like, where's the training from Companies House on how to deal with these issues and deal with these problems? And what is the next step when this has happened? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's been so poorly executed, this whole this whole way of dealing with this, that we're the ones that are gonna be on the back foot, and we're the ones, again, on those emails at the very beginning. Don't worry, your accountant will sort it. They'll deal with it. Deal with what? Deal with how? Because the only way we can even try and do this is by going through the pain of this ourselves, and it hasn't been pretty. So yeah, I don't know. I was tempted to put like a post out and all this and the other, like, spot the difference. Part of me feels like I've just given up on it now. I just feel like this is it's just terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, no, fair enough. Right, well, that brings us to 9:27. Well done, Aaron. Thank you very much for that. We will bring this episode to an end. Aaron, what have you got on this week?
Well, it is just pure work. So yeah, it is like going through there. We got a bonus show on Wednesday. So for all our Patreon users, listeners, you can come along and join us live if you want, and give your thoughts and feedback to the world of the events industry this year. So yeah, it should be a good one. What about yourself, Jan?
Fantastic. I'm up and down the country this week. So tomorrow I'm visiting Free Agent head office in the morning. Go catch up with those guys. And then I'm down to Tax Calc head office tomorrow afternoon. And then in Tax Calc head office all day Tuesday, Wednesday even. Back up the country Thursday and try and get some work done in between all of that. So yeah, busy, back on the rails. First trip of the year. I'm quite excited, as fatigued and fed up of all the traveling as I was by December the 12th last year. I am excited to get back on the rails again and get traveling again and meetings and all the stuff we're doing. So yeah, this is the first one. I probably don't have any in February. Oh no, I do have a couple. I've got one at the end of January and two in February for various things. But yeah, kind of looking forward to getting back on the rails. It's been 6 weeks hiatus. I'm ready to go again. 4 weeks hiatus even. But yeah, so back to traveling up and down the country, sat on LNER getting work done. So yeah, quite excited about that.
I'm definitely not excited about getting back on it. I told you, didn't I, last week we went for pleasure. We went on a train to and from the same train I would do normally from my commutes, right? So to and from London. And on the way back, despite having a first class advance purchase ticket, so basically our ticket was, these were our seats, these were we sat on. I had to stand the whole way in first class to thingy, and it wasn't because it's a weekend one as well. And it was because there was a train that one of the lines had been disrupted. Might have been LNER actually. One of them was disrupted, so they had to kind of funnel it through our line to get them at least up the country, so they can get a connecting train and all this sort of rubbish, right? Because of that, they just turned off all reservations and everything else and all this, that, and the other, and they didn't even bother going through and checking the tickets if you had a first class or didn't have first class. So bear in mind,
everyone's too angry.
Yeah. So I didn't get my seat. B, I didn't get my cup of tea. It's like, I am not ready to start back on up and down that commute anytime soon. So yeah. I mean, I definitely put a rant email over to Ian. Do you know how much I've spent with you over these past? I was not a happy chappy.
Yeah. No, thankfully, I'm grateful the weather's cleared up, and hopefully you're going to stay cleared up for this week's travel.
Was it this time last week? You would have had a more problematic one, right? So
yes, somewhat. There was a lot of snow in places, so that would have been more challenging. But yeah, right. Well, thank you very much to all of our cool listeners and and everyone that's tuned in to us today and asked lots of questions and gave their side of what they're doing with their emails and stuff. From 2 minutes to go, and we were struggling for content. I think that turned out all right in the end as an episode.
Yeah. We didn't even go through most of the content we've got.
Yeah, we'll win that. So brilliant. I hope everybody has a fantastic week, and we'll see you all here, same time, same place, next week.
Bye.